welcome all of you all, and we're really looking forward to having a wonderful presentation today. We've got some just beautiful speakers, and I say beautiful in many ways, and you'll see as you get to meet them through their presentations. These are people that have been heavily involved in agriculture and delivering the breadbasket of America to all of us, primarily through the organic channel. And this is a tremendous opportunity to learn from people that have been in the trenches for their whole lives. So I really look forward to this, and I think you all will enjoy it. So I want to welcome our three speakers. I'll introduce you all to them right now. The first is Stephanie Jerger, who is the Vice President of Operations at the Organic Trade Association. And I think you'll hear more about the Organic Trade Association. It's a tremendous resource, and this is one of the driving forces in the popularity of organic food in the United States, well, actually in the whole world. And she is the Vice President of Operations there, where she works to create impactful alignments within the organic community to further OTA's strategic goals. Stephanie joined OTA, their team, to further complement her 20-year nonprofit career. She is a native of Florida. She's from Tallahassee, Florida, and she went to school there. She got her bachelor's degree at Florida A&M, and a master's degree then later on at Morgan State University. And she definitely has roots here in Florida, though she is living in Baltimore, Maryland right now. But that's just for strategic reasons, I'm sure. She's actively engaged in the community there, and she uses her skill set as a resource. That's what her commitment is. That's her lifelong commitment. Her focus areas include economic and political empowerment, food access, and sustainability in urban areas. So she's an incredible human being. You all will see it and you'll feel it through her presentation. Don't hesitate at the end to ask any questions that you might have about her far-ranging background. And now I want to go to the two gentlemen from Florida here. They're born and bred here. They're a father-son team, and the other son is, of the three of them, is not with us today, but he had another commitment. But these two here are primary drivers in the organic agriculture movement here in Florida, and particularly the citrus industry. They are the leaders in the citrus industry in Florida, particularly in the organic industry. The father, Benny, we call him Benny. They're all Bens, so everybody in their family is named Ben. All the boys are Bens. And Benny Jr. is a third-generation Florida citrus grower with nearly 60 years of experience. That's 60. Born in 1942 in Bartow, Florida. Benny farmed naturally in those days. I remember those days, not 1942, but certainly in the early 70s. He said, I learned farming naturally, avoiding synthetic chemicals long before organic certification existed. He said his philosophy was, I didn't know what organic was. I just didn't want to spray chemicals on my fruit. And I understood that's exactly the attitude I had. Nobody knew what, we hadn't defined it at that point. And when his son Matt founded the company, which is called Uncle Matt's, they have two companies, Uncle Matt's and then the McLean Family Farm, which of course they're going to talk all about all of that. When Matt founded that in '99, Benny joined as the production manager and then later as the director of Grove operations and the vice president, becoming the first certified organic citrus grower in the family plan. So of all of his generational relatives, he was the first. These guys are the first guys that went organic. Of course, organic came into its own during that period. And he led the conversion of nearly 1,500 acres of organic production and mentored over 25 small family growers. That's quite significant, I can tell you. So in 2016, the Organic Trade Association, which is Stephanie's organization, named him Organic Farmer of the Year. And so, I mean, recognizing the tremendous work that he had done in the citrus industry and through his research and all the things that he's done. Again, we're going to hear a little bit about it. I mean, there's a lifelong story here. He's a dedicated family man, grandpa, like I said, 12 grandchildren, and he is an amazing human being. I enjoy every moment that I get to spend with him and the stories that he tells. I just can't say enough about him. So you'll get a chance to hear a little bit. Again, not 60 years worth, but we've only got a little bit of time. But it'll be a wonderful opportunity for all of you to meet Benny McLean. And his son Ben, he's carrying the load now, carrying the mantle in the field for sure. I can't hardly get a chance to talk to Ben because every time I go down there to see him, he's out there on the tractor. He's out there doing something. He's working. He ain't sitting around the office there jawing with people. He's out there doing it. So deep respect for Ben and the work that he's doing. It's tremendous. So he's a fourth generation. So Ben the third, Benny's son, is the fourth generation citrus grower, and they're out of Claremont, Florida. And that's where, of course, the family they grew up. Ben grew up in the citrus industry, and of course, then came up here to the University of Florida, and he's a fighting gator, and got his education there, and then went back home and dig right back in. So again, I mean, there's so much that they could share, and we've only got a few minutes here in this brief little thing. But if you all reach out to them for as a resource, you'll be definitely satiated. So all three of these speakers are enormous resources in their fields of expertise. They're not newbies. They've been around, and I'm very much looking forward to their presentations. So with that, I'll just turn it over to Stephanie. You start off, and then we'll go to the McLeans, and we'll have a question and answer period at the very end, and it'll be a wonderful program. Stephanie, please.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you all for having me and inviting OTA to come spend some time and talk about organic certification. It's one of our favorite topics. It's one of the times we get to talk to smaller and transitioning farmers outside of the bigger brands. So we love activities like this. All right, so I am going to share my screen. Okay. Okay. Can everybody see it? Might give me a thumbs up and I'll be able to know if y'all can see the screen. Perfect. Got it. All right. Well, again, like he said, I am Stephanie Jerger. I am the Vice President of Operations for the Organic Trade Association. And I do spend probably the most amount of time dealing with smaller and transitioning brands and farmers. And so this is probably one of my favorite topics. Well, let's jump in. So organic certification. Certification for organic label can be produced by anyone who is dealing with fiber, food that is handled and done with the compliance regulatory instructions under the USDA's guidance from the National Organic Program, right? To be eligible for certification to organic, the crop must be managed without prohibited inputs or any kind of substances for at least a transition period of 3 years. That means 3 years from the time you put the last bad thing in the ground or something that would be prohibited as a substance. Livestock also is done. The practices are done from the last third trimester of the animal of poultry or day two of life. Poultry, and then dairy animals may be eligible for 1 year transitions, and that just depends on what kind of livestock you're dealing with. Okay. One tip, one thing that I like to bring up to people, a lot of people who are transitioning to organic, a lot of them are already farming using organic practices and not using prohibited substances. So if I meet people who have land that has not been touched and it's been laying fallow, that is almost always my favorite time to get land certified and have them certify that land even before they put anything in the ground. If it has been laying fallow, it may be eligible for what we call a desk audit, and it can be almost immediately certified as organic. And that way, anything that you do in that land from that point on can then be certified organic. So that's just a tip. If that's something you're thinking about, you have land that's been sitting, that's adjacent to something you're farming already, you're not really understanding what you're going to do with that yet, get it certified. Just have it being there, and then you just own certified land while it lays fallow. Also, another tip, operations that sell less than $5,000 a year for organic products are exempt from certification. The reason we put this in here is because a lot of small farmers will have they will have practicing organic farms and produce, and they'll be taking it to farmers market or doing farm stands. And they'll be worried about, saying that it's organic or telling people that it's farmed organically. If you're selling that small amount, usually to neighbors or communities, then you'd be exempt from it. You would not have to go through that process of certifying if you don't intend to grow your businesses. We're not forcing you to have to do that to sell to your neighbors and friends. But that's a tip because I hear that a lot for people worried about saying that they're farming organic or have an organic product. All right. So the first step in getting certified as organic is choosing a certifier. One of the main things about the integrity of organic is the fact that it is a third-party system, right? The traceability for organic has to be there from the time the seed goes into the ground to the time it gets into the shelf, right? What that means is that at any point in that supply chain, we have to be able to say who touched it, where did it go, and ensure that whoever was touching it made sure that they maintained the integrity of it. And the person or the entity who makes sure that is done in a compliance way is called the certifier. So the USDA is the one who puts out the organic standards and the regulations, and then the certifiers are the ones who certify that the producers or the farmers have followed those practices. So the first step is choosing a certifier that you'll want to work with. There are over 100 certifiers, and one tip that I often give people is choose a certifier that either you're familiar with, someone that is close to you, just because that will give you probably the best chance for great customer service, but also that certifier will know your region. They will know the challenges that you deal with in the area. They'll know the terrain. They'll know the pests. So anything that you're doing to manage your farm, they'll be more familiar with, and you'll have a really good relationship trying to manage your certification with your certifier if you get one that's closer to you, if possible. But any of them are all following the same organic standards, so you're not at a loss if you don't find one that's near you. Right? All right. So the process, again, the process to organic, very cut and dry, but it can be scary if you don't know what's going on. So I'm going to walk you through it in this way. So the first thing you would do is you're going to develop your organic systems plan. What that is your plan that you are submitting to the certifier. And that plan that you're submitting to the certifier, it tells the certifier that you understand how to maintain the integrity of your product from the time you put it in the ground to the time you get it out to market, right? It tells them that you have your SOP, your standard operating procedures, and they guarantee the integrity of that organic product. Some parts of that plan, right? It may entail fencing or making sure that you have co-mingling things separated, making sure that you control for contamination. Certainly always make sure that it understands how you control for pest. Also, all of those things have to be within the guidelines of organic, and that is all written out in your organic systems plan. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to submit that plan to the certifier. The certifier then has a desk team, a team that's inside the office, right? And they are going to look at your plan. And based on what you are telling them that you're going to do, they're going to see if your plan complies with the organic regulations. They're going to make sure that everything that you have said are things that are compliant with the rules. Once they see that, okay, based on the paper that you've given us, you meet the plan, you are able to get certification. This is where, again, the integrity of organic is about traceability. This is a third party system. When you get to this inspection point, the inspection is where a completely separate person. So now, think about all the players you have. You have the National Organic Program, the USDA, who rates the standards. You have the certifiers who are certifying that you're operating in the standards. Then they're sending out for an inspection. The inspectors are another third party. They are the ones who will actually visit your farm or visit your operation or your business. And what they will do is they're going to take that organic systems plan that you gave the certifier, and they haven't talked to the certifier, they don't haven't discussed it, they haven't discussed it with you. They're going to take it and they're going to make sure that everything that you wrote down on that on that OSP is exactly what's on your farm, right? So for instance, if you have told them that you keep all your organic feed for your chickens on the left-hand side of a barn, and all those tops are red because your conventional is kept on the right-hand side, and all those tops and lids are blue. What they're going to go in, they're going to go and check. They're going to go see where the feed is, what color the tops, and they're basing it on exactly what you have said. Because again, they have to verify that you do have in place the system that you have said that you have. Right? So that's what's going to happen. And when the inspector goes there, and if everything is in line, they're going to sign off on your inspection and say to the certifier, everything that they have told you they have, they have. Everything they said they're doing it. Everything they said they clean with. I've seen all those products. I've seen how they store them. Everything matches. And they're going to give it back to the certifier for the final review. And if everything matches, then the certifying body is going to enter your certification decision, which usually results in your organic certification, which is a certificate. It's digital. And that way you have it and you'll be able to display it at any time. And you'll also be able to redo your marketing products to be able to include the necessary parts of the USDA seal and the certifier on your label. One of the things that can be a barrier, and we're very well aware of it to smaller brands or smaller farmers, is cost of certification. While most people who want to do this are like sometimes we're already having practices that are organic, sometimes the cost of certification is a barrier. Certification right now is somewhere between $300 and $2,000, depending on the certifier you go with and depending on the size and complexity of your operation. So if you're a small farmer just getting fallow land certified, probably be closer to 300 side. If you're getting a mixed use farm done with livestock and fields, maybe processing, that's going to be closer to probably the 2000 just because it's based on the complexity and how many things, what are you getting certified. One of the ways that the USDA used to help offset that cost was called the USDA cost share program. And it was a program by which you could get reimbursed for up to 50%, up to $500 or 50% of your certification costs. Now, that program has not been around for quite a while, and OTA has been one of the leading bodies trying to work with Congress and USDA to get that back and included in the Farm Bill. But while we don't have it, OTA has a program that helps people with this in general. We have what we call our Small Business Access Program, and we provide technical assistance to both help you develop your organic systems plan, but also pay the cost of certification so that we can help people get over that barrier. We certainly want to remove as many things as possible to help people transition to organic as quickly as they possibly can. So that's always going to be one option. Those are the kind of things that you're thinking about. Feel free, reach out to me, and my information will be available after this. Okay. Uh, okay. So the standards, I've said it a million times, right? The standards are written by a National Organic Program, and that's where they're established. And there's a standard for almost every part of farm or agricultural life. The crop production, it has standards about what must be used for rotation, what kind of cover crops, cultivation and harvesting practices that maintain and improve soil. Those are the kinds of things that are in there. in terms of inputs, what kinds of things you can put inside the soil, what kind of manure, compost, and specific rules about how you use that. I know that can be something that people really want to do and recycle and use that, but organic has very strict components about what can be used, and those are available in the standards. Also, things that must be used for preventative methods, especially weeds and pests. I think that's one of the number one things that are part of those standards. Also, the seeds and planting stock. Must be organic if they're available. And that's very important because there's sometimes when people want to plant something or grow something or start and have an organic thing, sometimes like not indigenous greens, sometimes I mean indigenous seeds, sometimes they're ancient or sometimes they're ethnic or they're specific to another region or country. And so if they're not commercially available, there is a process in the regulations by which you go through and getting that the cycle of that seed and to become certified. So they have a standard for all of those things. Also, of course, the rules against GMO seeds and synthetics, the gathering of wild crops, very important because in the a lot of the foraging stages, it must not be destructive to other parts of the environment. All of those things are included and thought about in organic. One of the things I have on the screen here is we call it our organic wheel of sustainability. This is a part of our marketing that the OTA created a little while ago. And what we use is try to make it as simple as possible for people to understand what the benefits of organic was. And so good for business, good for planet, good for people and animals. Each of those sections has a little note about what it means, like how it's good for the planet. Sequestration of carbon, number one. We always love that. We always have we have one little thing about people and animals, and then we also have one thing about business because we very well know from years and years of research at OTA that where organic production is, there are higher returns, there's higher pay for farm workers, and there's higher boost in the economy for a large area, swaths of demographics and regions that have organic in them. So we put those in a wheel just so people can more quickly understand and grasp what those standards mean, kind of what they bring to the table if you choose to participate in organic. Okay. Processing and handling standards. Just like for the crops, we have standards. They're written about how you process not only crops, but also livestock, how you keep things from being commingled in handling processes. A lot of operations are organic and conventional. You do not have to completely transition everything. You can decide to act in both ways, but you have to have a process for how you maintain that to make sure that there's no commingling. And all of those are outlined in those processing and handling standards for the organic certification. Another reason just to come here, like I said, economic, the organic marketplace. And this is an old slide because that says 63.3 billion. This is few years old actually, because we're at 72 billion in the US for organic. Organic has far moved past trying to prove itself. Viability is solid. We are clearly growing exponentially over year. And so we are a booming marketplace. There's a niche market. I mean, it's not a niche market anymore here. People are looking for organic and demanding it. So this is just an interesting way to tell you about how many people want organic. About 80% of US households purchase organic on a regular basis, and the Organic Trade Association has that broken down by state. And so we can tell you how much in each state percentages, and it grows each year. But also, we just want to highlight the fact that it's a market viability. The next thing is export readiness. The global trade for organic is growing, it's booming. Outside of the US, the EU and Japan are the next largest USDA organic markets. They're clamoring for organic over there. So as many things as we can get to transition and get to those other markets, the better we do economically as well. One of the ways that OTA helps people participate in that is our MAP. It's our market access program. So OTA has a USDA pavilion that we buy at trade shows, 13 trade shows all around the world, largely all the big ones that are all natural and organic. And we buy a pavilion and we take 10 US based companies that have products that are 51% organic or more, and we take them and showcase them in other countries. This gives them that opportunity to showcase in another country and again build out the export market. And that's how OTA really participates in growing the global market. Okay. And then us, a little bit about us here. The Organic Trade Association. Like Mark said, we've been around for a very, very long time. The amount of things we do is exponential. I can't even go through them all because it's a lot. We're a very small team doing a massive amount of work, but we do it with the power of these businesses and people like the McLeans who have been powering this, for over 40 years at the Trade Association. But again, some of our information here is we promote and protect organic. Again, we work directly with USDA and directly with the federal government to ensure organic practices are fair, that the market is stable, that the funds will be available for farmers the same way they would be in subsidies way for conventional, and also there's grant opportunities for organic. We're a membership-based organization, so feel free to take a look at our membership benefits. If you're a small farmer, it's a very nominal fee. And also, to the point I mentioned, that small business access program. For that program, if you qualify for that as a farmer, that program is free. It allows you free membership at OTA for 3 years with all the benefits therein. And that information can be found on our website at ota.com. And lastly, again, I am Stephanie Jerger. If any of this went too fast, and I'm sure it did, but we'll take questions after, I am always available. This is my information, and I'm sure it'll be available after the webinar so that you can get it from Mark. But OTA as a organization is very accessible. We have a wealth of knowledge for people who have big or smaller questions, and we kind of lead the industry in guiding farmers in that and transition in that way, but also businesses and for their business questions about organic, because that's really our place is to make sure that we grow the market and keep the market strong for organic. And thank you all for having me. Thanks, Mark.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Stephanie. Gosh, you you really covered a lot of ground there. Wow. That was amazing. Thank you so much. That was very thorough, very complete. And anybody that, I mean, I've been through this. I've been there from the very beginning, pre OTA. But so I saw everything that. I mean, the history was just going through my mind as you were counting off every detail. So beautiful. So huge resource. And now we'll take it back to Florida and bring it to the McLean family. Ben and Benny, y'all take it away.
Right. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, beautiful.
Okay.
I can see both
Well,
y'all too. You and Daddy.
okay. All right. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. So, as Mark said, Ben and Benny here, and we did our farming through what used to be called Uncle Matt's Ag, and we now had to change the name to McLean Family Farms. But that's the farming side of the family business, and then Uncle Matt's Organic is the branded juice side. Uncle Matt's, as Mark said, was founded as a brand in 1999, so it's the nation's oldest and largest selling organic orange juice brand, and it's in over 20,000 stores nationwide. And of course, got started just completely from scratch. Is that working, Mark?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was just a real quick picture there of my dad on the left there, and myself, my uncles, my grandfather in the middle. So, I'm the fourth generation of citrus growers. So that was kind of the brain trust that helped us get going. My granddad had farmed, as he said, back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, organic before they knew what it was. And so we all relied on him a good bit. And in Uncle Matt's, my dad and I grow it, and my brother sells it. That's how it's been. I helped do all the original farm plan back in 2000 going forward when we, as you said, began converting people. We actually packed fresh fruit too from 2003 to 2015. And we had avocados, blueberries, blackberries, as well as obviously a large amount of citrus. That was basically our foundation. With the citrus greening disease, it became widespread, and our packing house that we were co-packing out there shut down. Everything now is just in the organic orange juice and beverage sides. So here's our beverage portfolio now. Of course, you see we've added some of the functional beverages.
Wait a minute, Ben.
Yes.
The slides are not changing because the only thing that we've got here is it's actually the three. It's three of y'all in the grove.
Okay. Let's
So
just
I
change to.
think you're yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm trying on my side.
You're
Uh,
seeing it. You're seeing it on your side. Is
yes.
anybody else seeing it? Because I may be just slow on my side. I do have bandwidth issues. Stephanie, are you seeing it? Adriana, are you seeing the?
No, I still see the first slide with them in the grove, all three of them.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Did you see the others before that?
No, this is the first slide that we saw.
Okay. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry. I don't know
That's
why
all
I'm
right.
having trouble sharing my screen here.
There you go. There you go. Now you're seeing the full line.
Yes. Okay. So back.
There you go.
So that was our family picture there. My granddad in the center.
Yep.
I had talked about. Okay. All right. Everybody seeing that? Our beverage
Yep.
line?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
My apologies there for whatever reason. Um, so yeah, we branched out over time. And I know one things you'd asked us to talk about, Mark, was obviously the opportunities in marketing and sales that being organically certified brought to us. And I think one of the exciting things that we got into as a family early on is we wanted to be, as best as we could, price makers rather than price takers. As my grandfather had pointed out, in the conventional side, it was a situation where you almost felt like you were just a sharecropper for the big processors. They came by each year and basically told you what they would pay for the crop, and you kind of hope they would buy it and give you a fair price for it. So one of the things that really interested us when we first started talking about it and got over to the fresh fruit, as I said, was we just wanted to really get aggressive and create a brand that we hope someday could go viral nationwide, get out there and differentiate our product for how it was done differently. And of course, the National Organic Program lined up with the values we had as a family, growing and uh, stewarding the land. I mean, my grandfather grew up, like we said, using cover crops and compost and Peruvian back guano. So a lot of the practices just dovetailed right in with being organic. Began in the late 1990s. And now, like I said, it's come to a beverage portfolio that we have teas, we have lemonades, we have functional beverages where we blend in elderberry juice or turmeric and others and give us functional line. So it's been a good run. It's been a lot of fun. Obviously, you can go visit our website, unclemats.com, and get all the information there. I just wanted to give that as an overview. Stephanie talked about this. We do share a lot with, we do workshops and others on the farm compliance. I won't repeat a lot of necessarily what she said since a lot was there said, but we make a real big effort to tell people that along what she said, when you have this 3-year conversion process, it's the last date of the synthetic application that's been made unless the land's been lying fallow. So it's very important to document your history as you convert land over. And a lot of what we did was a great opportunity, was to convert land that was being farmed conventionally over into the organic. So most of our land didn't come from fallow, it was existing conventional groves. We also learned a lot during that process to make sure that you used your brand names and you made an approved list, and you got to be careful avoiding generic materials. Somebody will tell you, just giving friendly advice, that, oh, well, zinc is approved to use in organic production. Well, we all know that that's not true. It depends on the source, it depends on the approved brand name. And so a lot of what we did is we worked with growers and mentored them on just how to comply with those lists and avoid all those mistakes. So going into the marketing part of it, I think that what the great opportunity there in organic, again, is the differentiation that it allows you to bring to the field. As we started getting into our sales and marketing, we found that there was an excellent opportunity to actually touch the customer in the field. My dad will talk about that a little later. When we started doing organic U-picks of our peaches, and one of the opportunities we found is there was a lot of interest in organic production and organic produce. And so we began to market through social media. We ran ads on Facebook and directed people to come out to the farm. And then while we were out there, we handed out the coupons for the juice, and we did taste testing for the juice and directed people where they could go to their local Publix or their local Whole Foods. And, over 10 years, we dealt with thousands of new customers that we made just by simply offering that on the farm. And what it allowed was so many people to come out to the field, particularly parents with their children, and see how somebody actually grew organic. It gives you a chance there. This is one of the best parts about being an organic grower too, is you can show people that you have the integrity, the transparency. We used to show them our certificate right there at the desk where they would purchase the produce. And then they get a chance to see you as a knowledge leader and having the authenticity that you're actually out in the field growing it yourself. You're not just a brand multinational marketing, anything like that. You show that you're local. People can see your face, and they can be driven to your social media where you can educate them even further. We found too that organic is ideal for this LOHAS customer that we talked about, these lifestyle of health and sustainability, that acronym. So one of the great marketing opportunities for organic, again, is people have concerns about pesticide residues, particularly. They have concerns about nutrient density. They have concerns about environmental stewardship. And that type of customer is drawn to organic. So when you market accordingly and you meet those needs, you can drive a lot of business through your brand or even through your farm, just by showing that you have that integrity and transparency, and that you care about what you're doing. The good news too, price premiums do exist. I mean, that's the great part about organic. I mean, in general, we've got about, we got at least a 50% premium on all the fresh fruit that we packed versus if we'd gone conventional. And certain varieties like grapefruit were more than triple the value that you would have gotten if you'd have been conventional. So one of the best parts was we created these markets that hadn't been there before. And over time, it gave our growers that had transitioned through some excellent price premiums that kept the land in citrus culture and agriculture for a lot longer than it would have been if it had stayed in the conventional side. The other opportunity that's out there as you look to grow a brand and touch your customer and all is community outreach. We found that to be very important. Again, as we look to increase sales over time, we great opportunities to host field days. We did many of those, farm tours. We hosted a lot of workshops, like we currently host Valencia College's Sustainable Agriculture class each year. And from a sales and marketing side, those are then excellent opportunities. I would encourage anyone that gets into farming, that's a time to sample your product, hand out your coupons, show people your social media websites, as you demonstrate that you are authentic and that you actually produce yourself, and that everything that you say and do in the marketplace is real. We were fortunate too that we did get a lot of media time, from our local ABC affiliate here. We got McLean Family Farms and Uncle Matt's featured several times as organic producers. Our Four Roots farm here locally, the non-for-profit, they featured us as some of the local food heroes around, and we got to be part of a video, Florida Department of Ag. So any way that you can seek out those opportunities and connect with your local media as well, those are great opportunities to share your corporate history. And for us, it gave us a chance to, with our passion, to demonstrate some of our organic production practices, share with them ongoing research that we were doing, and the opportunities that we provided for interns, students, homeschooling groups, and others to come out and tour and see what we were doing. So that's been a rewarding part of it. And again, all of those too, though, are sales and marketing opportunities. And I think there's more interest in people who grow organically or sustainably or regeneratively and are showing environmental stewardship as a priority in their business. There's a lot more interest in that than we found in our conventional friends locally. So again, as you transition through this process and do everything that Stephanie talked about, which certainly we've done for over 20 years, know that there are good opportunities on the other side of this. And it's great. We always like to share with people too, in the marketing side of it, that we manage our farms as an ecology, and we put that on our website. We try to treat our farms as ecosystems, and we demonstrate to people and maximize biodiversity and life. And ultimately, we try to chase nutrient density in the final product that we put on the shelf, which I think that's something that's a great opportunity that we found over the years, marketing organic produce. And the Organic Center, TOC, along with OTA, has actually turned out published research that gives you that confidence, that shows that the nutrient content, the nutrient density of organically grown produce is higher and can be proven to be higher. And so you're going to find, again, within this organic consumer crowd, the LOHAS crowd, as we call them, that there is a concern about pesticide residues and nutrient density. And, we found obviously that our products had higher vitamin C contents in it. I even did some science fair projects with my daughters going through middle school and high school that won awards. But the nutrient density is a great opportunity long term, again, for those that are in the organic space, because by growing with natural inputs and avoiding the heavy synthetic applications, growing in a way that works with nature rather than works against it, as you implement the full thing of the NOP with cover cropping and composting, you're going to be rewarded with a crop long term that is more flavorful, is more nutrient dense, and that shows up in the orange juice now that we're putting on the shelves as well too. I mean, we have been winning recently nationwide taste tests and others that we're really proud of. So that is a long-term opportunity. There's no substitute for quality, and if you're a small farmer and you grow local and you grow organic, that'll separate you out even more from the produce that they'll look to buy in the local stores. Of course, and we try to remind people that the heart of organic and the opportunities not only to grow it, consume it, and to sell it is we don't just substitute inputs. We just, you left conventional farming and you used to just use, an organic or a synthetic herbicide, and now we use organic herbicides. You try to tell people that you're not just simply substituting inputs, you're changing the whole way that you think and the whole way that you approach farming. Again, you manage an ecology and you treat the farm as an ecosystem. And there's also an opportunity along the way that as you're growing heirloom varieties and collecting old seeds and old varieties that tend to be actually more nutrient dense, that haven't been hybridized or genetically modified, that these older methods have always been they were displaced. They were never disproven if the goal was environmental stewardship, nutrient density, biodiversity, and benefit to the end consumer on a health basis. So that's another opportunity that we have found in the organic certification process, that you can, again, champion some of these older varieties. For example, that's one of that produced a lot of quality food and citrus over the years. Just wanted to show everybody one of the things too that everybody was asking us, and we did have a freeze here in the 80s that framed a lot of why citrus moved south, but we are doing okay. And just wanted to let everybody know we did have a really bad freeze here recently. We have found, though, interestingly enough, that when you grow by this method, you get more cold hardiness, and we're beginning to study that as well too. So then back there, that's just, again, our portfolio. And appreciate the opportunity here to serve and everything. And like I said, in summary, and I'll toss it over to my dad, he can give you some of his personal experience here when he ran the UPIC. But again, I think the best part about the organic certification is it does give you a chance to differentiate yourself in a very crowded marketplace of food production, fruits and vegetables. It gives you a chance to be associated with environmental stewardship, lower pesticide residues, higher nutrient density, being fresh, being locally grown, being grown in a system that, again, is transparent and is more regulated. And I think that the opportunity is, as you communicate that to the marketplace, you can build that trust that then, validates the price premium that comes back to you. So without further ado, then I'll hand it off here to my dad and let him share about his experience on, again, how he took a small peach farm and co-branded it with our juice.
Thank you, Ben.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Ben.
Just a quick little history of as Uncle Matt was going along, Ben and Matt and myself, we're sitting around trying to figure out what can we do to make our juice product more available and advertise more. We had a good run. It was going good with Publix, no problem there. But there was a lot of people that had never heard about us, even local people right here. So I came up with the idea with Ben and Matt, and I had Ben showed you a picture there of a grove that I own that got killed in 83 trees. We had pushed it all out, so I said, we got 2 locations like that. This got paved road frontage. Let's go in and let's plant peaches. And I had been to some meetings with the University of Florida, and they had released 2 brand new varieties of peaches. And I said, let's grow these peaches and make it a U-pick. And that way we can offer this to little kids. They can come out with their mom or their dad, and they can pick these peaches, and we keep the trees small. So anyway, that's what we pursued, Mark. And we ended up with 2 real good locations here, 5 acres each. And we planted 2 different varieties of peaches on each one of them. And then I had 12 grandkids, 9 beautiful granddaughters, all live right here in Claremont. And every weekend they would all come out and they would work in the peaches. And the most appealing thing was how many mothers brought little kids out on a U-pick to pick the peaches. So now we've got, with all my granddaughters, obviously we could match just about every age that came out there, and they would walk them out into the peaches and say, look, this is how you pick a peach. And if you want to taste one, my granddad said you can eat it. There's no charge. So just about every kid, when they came through the gate to pay for the peaches, they had peach stain all on their shirts and on their face and everything. So it was great. And the girls were all trained of how to talk about Uncle Matt's juice, where you could buy it, how we grew it. So it was really a great opportunity for us, and it was very, very successful. And the peaches are only good for about 10 or 12 years, and then they die off. And that's kind of where we are right now. They've all just about died off, and we're debating now whether to replant the peaches and keep the U-pick going, because out of my 12 grandkids, I've only got 3 left. So that puts me back to work more. So, but what a great opportunity for somebody like me, not only to have my grandkids out there, but to meet these people when they come out, and it's one-on-one with them, and you're giving them a little coupon to buy Uncle Matt's, and you'd be surprised how many had never heard about the organic orange juice. And, oh yeah, you can just go, 2 miles from here and go in Publix. We got it in Publix, we got it in Whole Foods. So it was a great opportunity for me, Mark, and it goes back to what Ben and Matt said. You got to talk to people. You got to have that opportunity to face and talk and taste. And we got customers here in town that are just, I don't even know them, but they know me. So.
Oh gosh. I know we have a time. I know. I'm supposed to watch the time, but there's no way I can cut off Benny, and there's no way I can do it. So I have to apologize to my team. I'm sorry, I can't cut off Benny. Now you don't expect me to do that. Oh gosh, I love the stories of authenticity and reality. This is life on the farm. This is what we aspire for all over America, is to regenerate rural America so they can have the experience that the McLeans are actually living right now. And this is my dream. This is what has driven me my whole life in organic. I planted my first organic field in 1972 right here in Gainesville. So
Yeah.
I'm in it. And the McLeans are the living representation of what we aspire for in the organic community. So here they are, y'all, and I'm supposed to turn this over. I mean, Benny, if you have any more to say, I'm supposed to turn it over to the questions, but
I
um,
could, Mark, I don't have any problem with talking. My wife always said I could talk to a fence post, so.
oh gosh, and I could sit here and listen all day long. But so I don't know if y'all want to. There's questions. There are some people here, and I don't know if they want to ask any questions. I've got a few questions here, but does anybody want to ask any questions of Stephanie or the McLeans?
Mark, I think we have two questions currently in the queue.
All right.
I think the first one might be for both and or potentially some of our staff here at FOG. The first question is there an organic cost share program available to Florida residents? And I know we at FOG here do support the cost share program. I know Stephanie was talking about this a little bit. So really kind of opening that question to our speakers. And then I don't know if there's anyone from our staff here who maybe wants to speak to that a little bit as well.
Yeah, that is a good question. By the way, I don't know. I didn't know that the cost share program had been put on hold. But I would like to clarify that because money coming back in the organic program is always welcome by all farmers and producers. I mean, that is the most popular program that I've ever seen throughout the organic movement. It's the cost share program. So let's try to get clarity on that. So I don't know who wants to answer it, but whoever.
Mark, this is
Yeah.
Juan Carlos, and
Sí.
I'm the Education and Outreach Specialist for Florida Organic Growers. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I just want to say one thing instead of an update. Yes, because of the things that have been happening recently with the Farm Bill and the administration's sort of how sometimes these things happen. There's been delays and other things, but the cost share has not gone away. To answer the question about Florida residents or farmers in Florida, we are waiting for sort of confirmation that people can apply for their certification costs in 2025. Hopefully, this is something that also, through 2026, we will also be able to let you know. Check our website for more information. FOG and OTA actually have been working in the background to make sure that the cost share doesn't go away. Because as Mark was saying and alluding to, this has been something that over the years, FOG has always been very involved with advocating for organic farmers, and especially those farmers in Florida, of course. And through past farm bills, there's been money available in the for cost share. Again, because of what's been happening with the farm bill and other things, that is why some people thought, and until recently, we all thought it would go away, but OTA and FOG and others were working very hard. The money is going to be available. Once again, please, check our website for more information. In the past, we here in Florida, FOG is the one who notifies everyone. We work with the Florida Department of Agriculture, and FSA is also able to provide information about that. But right now, we're all sort of in limbo and have been in touch with the government, or at least the officials, but we haven't received an update yet about when really those funds are going to be released or when they're going to be available. But the cost share, once again, I'm happy to say, hasn't gone away. Just keep an eye on our website and we'll be able to provide more information.
Thank you very much for that clarity, Juan Carlos. That's what I was looking for.
Mark,
So
and
it's
just
alive
to
and well.
jump in really quickly, and to piggyback off of JC. Hi, everyone. My name is Adriana Diaz. I'm the current program director here at Florida Organic Growers. And just to kind of piggyback a little, right now we're actually pushing a lot of movement in gathering farmers' voices to kind of push back on getting 2025 reimbursements and what 2026 looks like for cost share. So I just put a link in our chat to where that website is located, and that page in our website. And it kind of just gives you more of a brief background as to what JC kind of explained. And in that website as well, if you are a farmer yourself, we really do encourage you to kind of fill that information out and kind of share your voice as far as how cost share has made an impact, or the lack of those reimbursements have made an impact on your current situation. We really would appreciate that. And if you do want to receive any more updates on cost share, there is a part in that website where you can enter your email as well. And we do try to stay updated on any announcements that they make, and kind of be on the same side as farmers, and hoping that these reimbursements can be allocated as soon as possible. So your voice definitely makes a huge impact. And again, I did put the link in the chat for those that want to share that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adriana. Also, just to be clear, that we will put these links and any resource links into the show notes on our YouTube channel. So when people go to this for the replay, and there'll be hundreds of people that will see this video on the replay, and all of these links will be in the show notes there as well. So not just in our chat; they're not going to go away. Beautiful.
Wonderful. We did have another question. I think this is for the McLeans. You are a multi-generational farm operation with deep roots. How does a new farmer get into this and afford all the packing, refrigeration, processing, and distribution costs associated with an efficient organic agricultural operation? And what type of lower capital investment opportunities are there?
How to get started.
Well, that's a very good question. I can let my dad weigh in too. We basically, that's the biggest challenge, I think, is capital, to start with. I mean, we started obviously really small. Our first year, the first couple years that Matt had the organic orange juice business, he actually just bought from local producers. Then we decided that we wanted to get in it in 2002, and we began putting together investment teams to purchase some local groves, and then also we leased other groves from local people. The challenge of it is we did put together our family team, and we had to go to a local bank and get credit to run that. And of course, we had to offer up our own personal assets as collateral. And yes, that's very challenging, and it gives you, can keep you up at night. Certainly when it's very cold and you think, oh, your trees may freeze, and you're hoping your insurance pays out. But it all worked out well for us. But, I think small business loans are available there through the SBA. Some people get at. And basically, pardon the pun, but we did it organically. We just simply tried as best as we could to run an efficient operation from the beginning and plow our profits back into buying what we needed, the equipment, the farming equipment and all of that. And then the other thing was, we actually didn't build our own plant, bottling plant, or processing plant, packing house either. What we did early on is we found very good partners like Haines City CGA, that was the oldest packing house in the state. And we worked with them, and they set up an organic packing line for us there and charged us by the box. We worked with Lambeth and a few others around that were conventional processing plants, that they set up organic lines there so that we could come and run our juice. And then, for example, Freshco was a bottling plant that was local in Fort Pierce, and they set up an organic line there. So one of the strategies, not that certainly it's the only one, is to partner up with people that already have existing infrastructure. There's a lot of excess capacity in agriculture right now. processing plants, packing houses, others are looking to fill in that space. And when you share with them the marketing opportunity that organic is, we began to fill that volume and help them become more profitable as well too. We were really blessed in the McLean family that because of my dad and my granddad, our extended family, we had a good reputation in the industry. So, the people at Haines City CGA knew our family real well. Dennis Broadway had worked with my dad elsewhere, and he was the president there. So that allowed us to have an open door to get in and consummate that relationship amongst others. So I think partnering as best as you can, helping fill out excess capacity needs that locals have, and then as much as you can, trying to be efficient, making a profit, and then reinvesting that back into the equipment that you need to capitalize and start up. That's how we did it. That's not the only way. And like I said, that actually became a limitation on our growth as well too through some of the years, because you simply just you can't get a big enough credit line to acquire the capital that you need to really build and expand. Now, last thing I will say, fortunately, as the brand grew, we were able to attract investment through private equity and others, and this organic space is really attractive to private equity. And there's a lot of people that want to do the right thing with their money and their investments. If you go out and attend Expo West and other places, you'll see them doing presentations there. And so there's a great opportunity to attract green capital, if you will. And that's where, it was beneficial that my dad got an economics degree, I got a horticulture degree, and my brother had a finance degree. And so we kind of put our heads together and, used all of that to come up with business plans to help attract some investment over time that helped us grow. So I hope that answers that some.
I want to just tee up the idea of leasing is here where I'm at, land is $6,000 to $10,000 an acre, but you can lease land for $60 an acre.
Right.
And so that from a startup standpoint, I've seen a tremendous growth in several different sectors with just the leasing, and I know y'all did some leasing there in at different stages of your development. Maybe you could just kind of speak to that a little bit.
Yes, that actually ended up being really favorable because some of the citrus groves around that were conventional groves, they had been purchased during the land boom of the late 90s and early 2000s, actually by developers. And then when the market really started cooling off in about 2005, 2006, there began to be a lot of properties that came around that weren't going to be sold, but were planted in a citrus grove. And so beginning in the early 2000s and going forward, we were able to go around and identify some of these properties that, as you said, Mark, there's no way you could have paid the retail purchase price to keep it in agriculture. But we were able to go in and work with the owners, the developers, if you will, and lease the grove for a period of time. And we didn't even have to make a payment on it. We just came up with a lease that gave them a percentage of the profits that we made off of the fruit. But we bore all the expense of raising the crop, so we didn't even have to pay a rent, if you will. They got the benefit of keeping their agricultural tax status because it was a full-time farming venture. So yes, leasing land, particularly when real estate markets cool off, is a real opportunity for farmers. And what had happened in some of these too, they had purchased the grove, and during the closing period and others, it had actually lied fallow, sometimes for 1 to even 3 years. The grove had simply just sat there. And so with this 3-year conversion process, we were able to come in, document the anchor date when the last synthetic material had been put in by the prior conventional caretaker, and get the land certified, sometimes quickly because it had already reached the 3-year threshold. And then we put organic inputs on it and could bring it back into almost full production. So that certainly wasn't the majority of the acreage that we had, but that was a portion of it. And I would encourage everybody to look around. Fallow land is the best example, as Stephanie had said earlier too, that may be fallow just from a farmer. We also had fallow land from just farmers and citrus families that it had just simply sat there for 10 or 15 years. It had been damaged in the '89 freeze, for example, one place where we grew organic watermelons. It had been completely killed in the '89 freeze, and it had sat fallow for 14 years. They had not been able to sell it for a real estate development. We came in, got it certified quickly, and grew organic watermelons on it that same year in 2004 in the spring. So, and once again, we didn't have to pay any rent for the land. We just simply had to give the owner a percentage of the profit that came off of it.
And that's an example of like growing watermelons, you know, on 50 or 100 acres. I mean, that's a way to capitalize your operation too. You can really make a lot of money really quick in that kind of a situation. And if you get it certified organic, you're really in a good position there. That's right. You got this is great. This is great. Unfortunately, we run out of time here. But if there are any more, you know, burning questions out there, Kendra, we'll take it. But right now we've gone a little bit over, and I have no regrets about that. So no apologies.
Well, thank you, Mark, and thank you so much to our speakers. Maybe we could wrap up with a final thought, maybe from Stephanie and then the McLeans. I know we're just close to the end here and a little over time, but again, just so much fantastic information. If anyone does have a question that was not answered on the call today, definitely reach out to us. We put a email in the chat there, and we'll also put it in those show notes after as well. But perhaps maybe a final thought to close us out.
I want to say one thing that I forgot to mention in the beginning, and that is that this program, which is the Gaining New Ground Initiative, was funded by RAFI, and they're the ones behind it. RAFI is a nonprofit organization out of North Carolina. The word RAFI means Rural Advancement Foundation International, and they have done just an enormous amount of work, particularly in the Southeast, but all over since 1990. They are a 5-star charity, and they're a tremendous operation. I personally know the founders of that organization, and they've just done amazing work, and one of the things that they're doing is things like this. So this program is a result of their contribution, and we're executing on their behalf here. So I just wanted to mention that. And also I want to just mention here as closing, I'm going to let you guys take the final, but we will be putting this up on our YouTube channel, which is the FOG YouTube channel. The replay will be there, and there will be an email out to everyone that has registered for this, and you'll get the link to that. And also there'll be a very, very short little survey, and I want to plead to everyone, if you can possibly find just a couple of minutes. It's a very, very short survey, but it would be very, very valuable to us to receive your feedback. So I want to encourage you to please just, it's only a couple minutes, just 5 questions or something like that, and it's all multiple choice, so you don't have to write anything. It's very, very straightforward, but it would be very helpful for us. That's all I had to say, and I want to turn it over to our speakers for their final comments.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. I just want to, in finality, just pronounce and put an exclamation mark on what Ben was saying about leasing and partnering with people. One organization that I work with a lot to try to get new farmers and transitioning farmers those kinds of opportunities is the National Young Farmers Coalition. The young part means new. It doesn't mean age. It's an organization that helps people who want to be new farmers get paired and find people who have those land opportunities that just need the people to come work, that have pieces they want to sell, that have pieces that are fallow. And so they manage those opportunities. That's really a national program that you should definitely look into. And also some of the smaller land trust organizations, they also have contact with those kinds of farmers because those are opportunities. Being organic and transitioning to organic is you stewarding a transformational part of the food system. So as much support as we can give you, we would love to do that. And I think those are some places where you can find those kind of opportunities because I think absolutely those are the ways that new farmers who do not have, a lot of experience, a lot of capital, no machines can easily get to work and be able to get into the business, learn and be able to earn money while they're able to build their own farms and capital.
And we'll put those links that Stephanie's mentioning here in the show notes as well. Thank you. That was excellent, Stephanie. Very good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's excellent. I wholeheartedly concur with that. I wanted to just add briefly that, everybody that tries to sell a product, there's a few things you have to do. You have to differentiate, educate, and lead people to action, right? You've got to take care of your customer, or somebody else will take care of that customer for you, right? And it's all about that. And the organic certification gives an excellent opportunity beyond the philosophical parts of it, which are correct and good, but it gives you an excellent opportunity as you go through this process to differentiate your product in this very crowded market space. The education tools are there as well now through the OTA that have been a big help for us. You can educate through your own social media as well, and there's so many people that you can link up with now that are influencers online and others that really help educate as well too. And now it's changed so much in the 25 years from when we first started. I mean, there's an organic offering, in all of these places, the Walmarts that we never could have even believed of before, for better, for worse. And then the old reliables like the Sprouts, the Whole Foods, the natural food channels, and then great normal chains like Publix and Kroger. So there's so much more opportunity to sell into that marketplace than there was 25 years ago. And, Mark can speak to that so well. And again, like I said, the opportunity there to produce something, my granddad used to say in the final analysis, farming is just about taking care of other folks. That's all it is. That's all we're doing. And I think when you farm in this method, in this way, you can know that you can be proud of what you're producing. When you go by the standards and when you send it down the line, so to speak, for others to consume, you know that it's doing good. It's something you can be proud of. And again, with the marketplace now and the resources that are behind us, the ability to get that price premium because you can differentiate and educate is so much greater than it used to be. And there's just a really good opportunity here. And I couldn't encourage people more to pursue this for a variety of reasons. So,
Benny, please. The final statement.
Just thank you for the opportunity, Mark, for Ben and I just to, openly talk about being certified organic and what it means to us, especially for me. I have educated all 12 of my grandkids, okay, about being organic. And when they go to the store, you don't buy anything unless it's certified organic. And it's surprising, 3 of those 9 beautiful granddaughters are married and they're already starting that. So I'm all excited that I feel like I've accomplished something big time.
You have. So help me God. Thank you so much for being part of my life and sharing this with the greater organic community. I'm beside myself, and with appreciation and respect for everything that you all have done, the McLeans and Stephanie, what you're doing there. You're doing an amazing amount of work. This is just a small little sliver, but you sure do it well. So I want to say on behalf of FOG, Florida Organic Growers, and the organic community and all these beautiful people here, thank you very much for being part of our experience. And be looking, we're going to be posting up and getting an email out to you as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Mark. Happy to help.
Thank you very much, y'all. Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful day. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah.